Okay, so good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Yeah? Okay. Okay. Just a moment.
Hello, this is Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
So on the Vajra breathing and such, I have surgery 10 years ago. My spine got shortened, so my arms are too long to fully press out. Is there another option to do the best I can or something else?
Vajra breathing. You don't have to stretch your arm. You can just hold your arm short like that. It's okay. You don't have to stretch your arm all the way up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever helps you, you should do that. Just because you're not able to do something else, then don't leave it. Also, you have to kind of compensate, or you have to do something else for that. So you can just stretch. You can kind of fold your arms in, but just maintain the Vajra fist, and then carry on doing that. Okay, the insert for the mind training. Page 1. Jin. Kemakehu. Kemai ke hoi kanden reke boy mare temo wange mane par. Zindro yangar ke dandaye yarlon tain tome dune dalayen tuke bar. Mare wange nil yonde choyge dane manel gosum gelaibe. Kigai nachi dungai mishe samdering zamyang tape gokai me. Trumlai zendrui kepe dunlai bai dare jingpu tende trumtende. Nyomle ngangla depe dumai yin chiwai somla druba taru kel. Tselai longme chigen same chain de tse me tser dengje ma tomna. Kebue kene sembe jeje ron che nain dame tongjen che dan. Jumai me jui me lam zunen dan te ze donkere da cha tabur. Chundai chuburo mi yor tumbai soe shejai jume pechu te jindo. Korde chenam keke sheparangi chenam ranji kewa me pad. Neme game doi me bao mi me tsema me chen samjende. Den den tombe jawa de la ba. Namo Guru Be, Namo Daki Be, Namo Dewa Be, Namo Daki Be. Back to page 1. O alas, alas, fortunate child of Buddha nature, do not be oppressed by the forces of ignorance and delusion, but rise up now with resolve and courage. Entranced by ignorance from beginningless time until now, you have had more than enough time to sleep, so do not slumber any longer, but strive after virtue with body, speech, and mind. Are you oblivious to the sufferings of birth, old age, sickness, and death? There is no guarantee that you will survive even past this very day. The time has come for you to develop perseverance in your practice. For at this singular opportunity, you could attain the everlasting bliss of awakening. So now is certainly not the time to sit idly, but starting with the reflection on death, you should bring your practice to completion. The moments of our life are not expendable, and the possible circumstances of death are beyond imagination. If you do not achieve an undaunted confident security now, what point is there in your being alive or being? All phenomena are ultimately selfless, empty, and free from conceptual elaboration. In their dynamic, they resemble an illusion, mirage, dream, or reflected image. A celestial city, an echo, a reflection of the moon in water, a bubble, an optical illusion, or an intangible emanation. You should know that all things of cyclic existence and nirvana accord in nature with these 10 similes of illusory phenomena. All phenomena are naturally unborn. They neither abide nor cease, neither come nor go. They are without objective referent, signless, ineffable, and free from thought. The time has come for these truths to be realized. Namo Guru Bhe, Namo Deva Bhe, Namo Dhaki Bhe. Homage to the Lama, homage to the Yidam, homage to the Dakini. You know, the blessing of speech, page 3. Bomb the chung. Om. Fire rising from rum syllable consumes my tongue, transforming it into a three-pronged vajra of red light. In the center are the vowels and consonants surrounded by the mantra, the essence of interdependent origination. From these syllables, like a string of pearls, light rays stream out, making offerings to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, pleasing them. As these rays return, all obscurations of my speech are purified, and I receive all the blessings and siddhis of Vajra speech. A a I I U re re li li e I o a nga ha ka ka ga ga nga cha 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 ja na da 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 na ta ta da da. Pa 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 ma ya ra la wa sha sa sa ha cha om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetun te shantata gato haya vadata. Teshan chayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramana swaha a I u re re li li e I o a nga ha. Ka 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 ga nga cha 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 ja na da ta da da na ta ta da da na pa 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 ma ya ra la wa sha sa sa ha cha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetunde shantata gato haya vadata te shanchayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramana swaha. A I u re re li li e I o a nga ha ka 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 ga nga cha 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 ja na ta ta da da na ta ta da da. Papa Papa Mayara Lava Shasa Saha Cha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetunte Shantata Gato Haya Vadata Te Shanchayo Nirhoda Evam Vadi Mahashamana Swaha A I U Re Re Le Le E I O Awangaha Kaka Gaganga Cha 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 Ja Na Ta Ta Da Da Na Ta Ta Da Da Na Papa Papa Mayara Lava Shasa Saha Cha Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetunte shantata gato haya vandata te shanchayo nirod evam vadi mahashramana swaha a I u re re ne ne e I o avangaha kaka khaganga cha 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 ja na da ta da da na ta ta da da na pa pa bha ba ma ya ra la wa sha sa sa ha cha Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetunte shantata gato haya vadata te shanchayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramana swaha. A I u re re li li e I o avangaha kaka khaganga cha 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 ja na ta ta da da na ta ta da da na. Papa bhava ma yara lava shasa saha cha om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetunte shantata gato haya vadata. Te shanchayo nirodha evam vadi mahasharmana swaha I u re re li li e I o au angaha kaka khaganga cha 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 ja na ta ta da da na ta ta da da na papa bhava ma yara lava shasa saha cha om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetunde shantata gato haya vadata te shanchayo nirodha evam vadi maha Sharmana Soha. Okay, so you did the Omahu breathing, remember? So the Vajra, it's called the Vajra recitation or the Vajra breathing. So now page 13. So cultivate the altruistic motivation of the Bodhisattva that in order to bring all motherly sentient beings freed from the suffering of the cause and the result of samsara, and to be established in the perfect and complete precious Buddhahood, that I will engage in this definitive practice of the foundation or the preliminaries of the heart essence of the vast expanse. So to do so, I invoke the blessings of the Guru and engage in the progressive practices of the preliminaries. Nyingthig gesar shepane changche drenche namayar lajeng le dan no dampe zirwaye ke huai ngen ba dan la cho pe che Chiur de che corre gendo jo genda shi kun cha chen so se. O Lama, please think of me. O Lama, please think of me. O Lama, please think of me. From the blossoming lotus of devotion at the center of my heart, arise, O kind Lama, my only refuge, in order to protect me, the miserable, unfortunate one, who is overwhelmingly tormented by karma and mental affliction. I pray that you remain as the jewel ornament on the crown chakra of great bliss, arousing all of my mindfulness and awareness. De zon zange tam jege owo kuje dane balden lama damba la sewa de so dala wangoro jenge laptos sablam ge tobai ke bara jenju lai ke wara jenge laptos kada nelo ke tawa toba jenge laptos tundro nanje yeshe tar jembar I fervently supplicate to the glorious sacred Lama, the essence of all of the Buddhas of the three times, the embodiment of the four kayas. I pray that you grant me blessings and empowerments. I pray that you bless me so that the extraordinary realization of the profound path arises in me. I pray that you bless me to realize the view of the primordial purity of the abiding nature. I pray that you bless me to perfect the wisdom of the four visions of spontaneous presence. I fervently supplicate to the glorious sacred Lama, the essence of all of the Buddhas of the three times, the embodiment of the four kayas. I pray that you grant me blessings and empowerment. I pray that you bless me so that the extraordinary realization of the profound path arises in me. I pray that you bless me to realize the view of the primordial purity of the abiding nature. I pray that you bless me to perfect the wisdom of the four visions of spontaneous presence. Okay, page 17. Now I am free from the hell, preta, or animal realm, long living gods born in barbaric land, or being a wrong view holder, born in a period when Buddha has not appeared, or being mentally dumb. I have obtained freedom from these eight unfree states, born a human being with all my senses intact and in a central land, with a lifestyle not harmful or wrong, and with faith in the Buddha's teachings. These five personal endowments are complete. A Buddha has appeared, has taught the Dharma. It is existing. I follow, and a sublime teacher has accepted me. I have the five circumstantial endowments. Although I am in a position where I have every one of them, once this life so fraught with uncertainty is relinquished, I will go on to yet another realm of existence. O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. If I do not use the opportunity this present freedom offers, I will not find such a basis for attaining liberation later on. Once the merit that provided this happy existence is exhausted, I will wander after death as an unfortunate being in the miserable realms. Not knowing virtue from non virtue, I'll never hear a word of Dharma, nor meet a spiritual teacher, a terrible disaster. If we reflect on the numbers and kinds of sentient beings, we understand just how slim is the chance of gaining a human body. When we see even human beings devoid of dharma engage in negativity, we realize those who act according to dharma are just like the daytime star. O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. Even though it is like reaching a jewel island, attaining this human body, a fickle and impetuous mind in such a promising basis makes it an unsuitable support for attaining liberation, especially when possessed by negative influence or with the five poisons raging inside, or when negative karma befalls me, or I am distracted by laziness, or when a slave under someone else's control, or turning to Dharma simply out of insecurity or fear, or merely pretending to practice, or when deluded and stupid. These are the eight intrusive circumstances that make Dharma impossible. When these come upon me opposing my Dharma practice, O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. Lacking both revulsion and the jewel of devotion, caught in the bond of desire and cravings, or with crude degenerate behavior, never holding back from negative, harmful actions and engaging in the five inexpiable acts, with vows completely broken and samaya torn to shreds. These are the eight propensities where mind is cut off from the Dharma. When these come upon me opposing my Dharma practice, O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. At this moment, I am not inflicted by sickness or pain, nor am I a slave or such under another's control. So now, when I have this perfect, auspicious quality of total freedom, if I waste the freedom of this human life through my own indolence, not to mention parting from my companions, possessions, relatives, and loved ones, even this body that I hold so dear will be carried out alone from its bed to some desolate spot, to be torn to pieces by foxes, vultures, and dogs. Then in the Vado there will be even greater terror. O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. The results of virtuous and non-virtuous actions will follow accordingly, especially if I'm born in the hell realms. On the ground of burning iron, my head and body will be hacked with weapons. I will be ripped apart with saws and crushed with red-hot hammers. Trapped in scream, doorless iron cells, screaming out loud, I will be impaled on red-hot spikes, boiled in molten lava, and burned in a fire of intense heat. This is the first eight classifications of hells. On the crest of snow mountains, on precipices of ice, terrifying places engulfed by squalls and blizzards of snow, my tender body, lashed by freezing winds, will break out in blisters, bursting open into festering sores. In a ceaseless wail of agonized scream, and suffering difficult even to think about, like a sick person at death whose strength is completely gone. I will let deep gasps and groans, my teeth clench, and my skin cracking open, and my exposed raw flesh will split deeper and will split yet again. This is the next eight classifications of the hells. Similarly, my feet will be sliced to ribbons on the plane of razors. In the forest of swords, my body will be gashed and chopped. I will sink in the storm of petrifying corpses and the pit of hot embers, tormenting in the changing hell and in the hell neighboring the ultimate torment. Born indoors, pillars, fireplaces, ropes, and the like, always made use of and exploited in the ephemeral hells. When thoughts of intense hatred and aggression arise, which are the causes of being born in any of the 18 hells, O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. Likewise, in the grim and destitute realm, where the words food, drink, or comfort have never been heard, the pretas find nothing to eat or drink for months and years on end. Their bodies are emaciated and they lack even the strength to stand. They suffer from three different kinds of obscurations. The reason for being born in such a birth is greed, in constant dread of being killed and eaten by one another, exploited and worked until exhaustion, bewildered as what to do or not to do. Animals are oppressed by limitless suffering, the seed of which is stubborn stupidity. When I wander into this darkness, O Guru Rinpoche, think of me, turn my mind towards the Dharma. Omniscient Lord, keep me from straying onto wrong or inferior paths. O kind Lama, you who are not separate from them, think of me. Though I have entered the path of Dharma, I haven't put a stop to my mistaken behavior. Though I have entered the door of the Mahayana, I am devoid of any benefiting thoughts for others. Though I've received the four empowerments, I do not practice the generation and completion stages of meditation. O Lama, free me from straying from the path. Though I have not realized the view, I act as if I were crazed. Though distracted in my meditation, I boast about my understanding. Though my actions are at fault, I do not reflect upon my mistakes. O Lama, free me from becoming such a jaded practitioner. Though I may die tomorrow, I am full of craving for home, clothes, and possessions. Though my youth has passed, I lack reversion and renunciation. Though I have heard only a few Dharma teachings, I arrogantly presume that I have qualities. O Lama, free me from such ignorance. Though headed toward disaster, I am preoccupied in distraction, roaming the world. Though I stay in solitary retreats, my basic character remains as hard as wood. Though I speak of morality, I have not abandoned my attachment and aversion. O Lama, free me from the eight worldly concerns. Quickly rouse me from this deep sleep of ignorance. Quickly free me from this dungeon. Just a moment. 오늘 airdrop 해주세요. 포토 나네. 야다 슬라이드 야다 포토 넣죠. 포토 나. 봤다. 기나다. 나타네. 아니면 근조 숨게 대신 자원 숨살론 텔레 라제 장초섬 오 란제 토제 결코라 장초님 봄반도 장순제 근조 숨게 대신 자원 숨살론 텔레 라제 장초섬 ngô rong zhen tu je kyang kor la chang chu ning bo ban do chang sun che kun jo sum nge de she za wan sum sa ron te le rong zhen zhang chu sem ngô rong zhen tu je kyang kor la chang chu ning bo ban do chang sun che. In the actual three jewels, the three root sugatas, in bodhicitta, the nature of channel, wind, and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddhahood. In the actual three jewels, the three root sugatas, in bodhicitta, the nature of channel, wind, and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddhahood. In the actual three jewels, the three root sugatas, In bodhicitta, the nature of channel, wind, and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddhahood. Bodhicitta. O nazo nawai chunde zinre ki korwai lugu judo chambedro rang re se yin so ngel se che se me je yen ane sem do. O nazo nawai chunde zinre ki korwai lugu judo chambedro rang re se yin so yin se che se me je yen ane sem do. O na zo na wai chun de zin re ke korwa lu gu ju du cham ben ro rang re se yin so yin se che se me je yen ane sem do. Alas, the mesmerizing display of mirrored appearances, like a mirage of the moon in water. Beings grasping it as real wander continuously in samsara. To bring them to rest in the space of luminous intrinsic awareness, I generate bodhicitta through the four immeasurables. Alas, the mesmerizing display of mirrored appearances, like a mirage of the moon in water. Beings grasping it as real wander continuously in samsara. To bring them to rest in the space of luminous intrinsic awareness, I generate bodhicitta through the four immeasurables. Alas, the mesmerizing display of mirrored appearances, like a mirage of the moon in water. Beings grasping it as real wander continuously in samsara. To bring them to rest in the space of luminous intrinsic awareness, I generate bodhicitta through the four immeasurables. And finally, dissolve all concept of subject, object, and action into non-conceptual great emptiness, and then you rest in that state for a while. This is the absolute bodhicitta. Dani Tamil, sorry, we are reciting it. Can you see Vajrasattva?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, page 43. Ah, in my ordinary form, above the crown of my head, on a white lotus in the center of a Mundus seat, is the syllable Hung, which becomes the Lama Vajrasattva, brilliantly white with complete Sambhoga Kaya adornments. Holding Vajra and bell, he embraces his consort, Dorje Nema. I take refuge in you and pray that you purify all of my negativities. With deepest regret, I acknowledge and confess them. From now on, even if my life is at stake, I shall vow to refrain from repeating them again. In your heart, upon a full moon, is the syllable Hung, encircled by the mantra. Reciting the mantra invokes your wisdom mind, and from the point of union of Yab and Yum's blissful play, a cloud of bodhicitta nectar flows down like a drop of camphor. By means of these, for me and all sentient beings of the three realms, may our negative karma and destructive emotions, the causes of suffering, illnesses, harmful influences, negativities, and obscurations, along with faults, downfalls, and defilements due to breakages of samaya, be purified completely until not a single one remains. Om Vajra Sattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajra Sattva Teno Patishta Dhrido Me Bhava Sudokaya Me Bhava Subokaya Me Anurakto Me Bhava Sarva Siddhi Me Prayasa Sarva Karma Sutsa Me Chatam Shrim Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavat Sarva Tatha Gata Vajra Mame Munja Vajra Bhava Maha Samaya Sato Om Vajra Sato Samaya Manu Palaya Vajra Sattva Teno Tishta dhrido me bhava sudokaya me bhava subhokaya me bhava anurakto me bhava. Sarva siddhi me prayasa sarva karma sutsa me chitam shiryam kuro hum ha 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 ho bhagavat. Sarva tatha gata vajrama me manza vajri bhava maha samaya sato a om vajra sato samaya manu palaya vajra satvateno. Tishta dhrido me bhava sudokaya me bhava subhokaya me bhava. Anurakto me bhava sarva siddhi me prayasa sarva karma suca me chitam shiryam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sarva tatha gata vajrama me munja vajra bhava maha samaya sato ahum pe. Page 47. O protector, in my ignorance and delusion, I have gone against and impaired my samayas. Lama protector, be my refuge, chief of all the mandalas, Vajra holder, embodiment of great compassion. Chief of all beings, in you I take refuge. I confess all broken root and branch samayas of body, speech, and mind. I pray that you cleanse and purify all my accumulated negativities, obscurations, faults, downfalls, and defilements. Vajrasattva is pleased and smilingly says, Noble child, all of your negative actions and obscurations, faults and downfalls are purified. Granting his approval, he melts into light, and by dissolving into me, I become Vajrasattva, appearing yet empty like a reflection in a mirror. At my heart is the syllable Hung, around which the four brilliantly radiant syllables emanate rays of light, whereby the three worlds and the whole universe and the beings within it attain Buddhahood as the Buddha feels and the Buddhas together as the Buddha feels and the Buddhas of the five families of Vajra Sattva. Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Hum Om Vajra Sattva Om Vajra Sattva Om Vajra Sattva. Om Vajra Sattva Om Vajra Sattva And Vajrasattva dissolves into the Sid syllable. The Sid syllable dissolves tracelessly in basic space, and then you rest in that state for a while. Now the mandala offering. Om the billion pure realms of the 3,000-fold world systems, filled with the 7 precious gems and the wealth of gods and human. Together with my body and possessions, I offer them totally. May I attain the dominion of the universal ruler of Dharma. The Akanishta pure realm densely arrayed with great bliss. The mandalas of the 5 certainties of the 5 Buddha families, along with inconceivable vast clouds of offerings of every variety of sensual pleasures I offer. May I emanate in the Sambhogakaya Buddha field. The world of appearance and possibilities, perfectly pure, is the youthful vase body, ornamented by unceasing great compassion, the display of dharmata, the perfect and pure realm of indivisible wisdom bodies. I offer, may I manifest in the pure realm of Dharma Kaya. Page 55. The earth's surface is sprinkled with perfumed water and strewn with flowers, and adorned with Mount Sumeru, the 4 continents, the sun, and the moon, is visualized as a Buddha field I offer. May all beings enjoy in the pure realm of perfect purity. Tram Guru Ratna Mandala Puja Mega Samudra Saparana Samaye Aho. Page 59. By casting away all attachment to this dearly cherished body, the Devaputra Mara is destroyed. My consciousness ejects into space through the top of my crown and transforms into Trema, destroying the Mara of the Lord of Death. My right hand holding a hook knife, symbolizing vanquishing the Mara of mental afflictions, slices the top of the corpse's skull, destroying the Mara of aggregates. My left hand holds a skull cup, the aspect of activity, and places it on a hearth of 3 human skulls, representing the 3 kayas. Inside the vessel, the corpse, now an offering filling the 3,000-fold world system. The blazing R syllable melts and the hung nectar and the offering are purified, multiplied, and transformed by the power of the three syllables. Om Ahung, Om Ahung, Om Ahung. Om Ahum 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 Om Ahum 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 Om Ahum 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 Ahum. By my offering to guests above, the sublime unconditioned wisdom mind of the root and lineage lamas and the yidams are fulfilled. Merit and wisdom are accumulated, and supreme and ordinary siddhis are attained. By my offering to the guests of samsara below, their satisfied and karmic debts are repaid. In particular, the malicious ones and negative forces are satisfied. All illnesses, destructive influences, and obstacles are pacified, dissolving into space. Harmful condition and clinging to self are destroyed into dust. Finally, offering, offerer, and guests dissolve uncontrived into the original nature of Dzogpa Chenpo. Guru Yoga, page 65. Emaho. My own perception is the spontaneously perfect, all-encompassing pure Ram, arrayed perfectly as the glorious copper-colored mountain. In its center, I am Vajrayogini with one face and two hands, brilliantly red and holding a hook knife and skull cup. My 2 feet are in advancing pose, my 3 eyes gazing in the sky. Above the crown of my head on 100,000 petal lotus, sun and moon seed, inseparable from my own root Lama, the embodiment of all sources of refuge, appears the Nirmana Kaya, lake-born Vajra. His body glows with youth, white with a tinge of red. He wears a gown, monastic shawl, cloak, and robe, with one face, 2 hands, and seated in a majestic posture. In his right hand he holds a vajra, in his left a skull cup containing the vase of immortality, and on his head he wears the 5-petaled lotus crown. In the crook of his left elbow he holds the supreme consort of bliss and emptiness, concealed as a 3-pronged katvanga. He presides amidst a shimmering aura of rays and rings of rainbow light. All around him, enveloped in a beautiful lattice of white, blue, yellow, red, and green light, are the 25 disciples, king and subjects, Panditas and Siddhas of India and Tibet, Rigzins and Idam deities, Dakinis, Dharmapalas, and protectors, those who keep the Samaya, all gathered like billowing clouds, vividly and distinctly visualized in the great equanimity of clarity and emptiness. Ogen yugen nojan sanpe mai gesen dongpo la ya zen chogen odrob ne pe mai junne shesura. Koldo kandro mambe kor kenge jeso dai drupche. Jingen lobche shansu sen guru pemai sende hong hong ujen yuge nobjan tsa. Pemai gesen dongbo la ya zen chogen udrumne. Pemai junne shesu da kordo kandro mambe kor kenge jesu dai drupche. Jingen lobche shansu sen Guru Pema Sende Hong Hong Jen Yuge Nobjan Tsam Pema Geser Dongpo La Yasen Chogen Odrum Ne Pema Junne Shesu Dra Kodo Kandro Mambe Kor Kege Jesu Dai Drupche Jingen Lapshe Shesu Se Guru Pema Sinde Hong Hong Ujin Yunge No Jang Zang Pema Gesen Dongbo La Yatsen Chogen Odrub Ne Pema June Sheso Da Kordo Kandro Mambe Ko Kege Jeso Da Jujin Jingen Lobche Sheso Se Guru Pema Sinde Hong. Page 71. Free, equal to the numbers of atoms in the universe, I multiply my body and offer prostrations. Through the power of Samadhi, both real offerings and those mentally emanated, all appearances and possibilities are presented as the gesture offering. All non-virtuous karma of my body, speech, and mind are confessed in the luminous state of the Dharmakaya. I rejoice in the accumulation of all virtue contained within the true truths. For the three types of beings to be tamed, I request you to turn the will of Dharma of the three yanas. Until samsara is emptied, I pray that you remain without passing into nirvana. All the roots of virtue accumulated in the three times I dedicate as the cause for attaining supreme Buddhahood. The supplication, page 74. O Guru Rinpoche, precious Lama, you are the glorious embodiment of the compassion and blessings of all the Buddhas, the only protector of all sentient beings. My body, wealth, lung, heart, and chest, I offer to you without hesitation. From now until I attain Buddhahood, in happiness or sorrow, in circumstances good or bad, in situations high or low, great precious Lama, lotus pond, think of me. I have no one else to turn to. The beings of these degenerated times are sinking in the swamp of unbearable suffering. Protect us from all of these, O great Guru. Grant us the four empowerments, O Blessed One. Deepen our realization, O Compassionate One. Purify the two obscurations, O powerful one. Om Ahom Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Ahom Benza. Om Ahom Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Ahom Benza Guru Benza. Om Ahom Benza Guru Benza. Om Ahom Benza Guru. 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 Omahum Benzo Guru Bemasuri, Omahum Benzo Guru Bemasuri. Omahum Benzo Guru Bemasuri. Page 77. Emaho. From within the pure realm, free from falling into limitations and extremes. The primordial Buddha Dharmakaya Kuntu Sangpo. Vajra Sattva, the Sambhoga Kaya, manifesting display like the moon in water. And Garabdoji, perfect with the marks of Nirmana Kaya. To you I pray, please grant blessings and empowerments. Shri Singha, treasury about the ultimate Dharma. Jambal Shenin, universal monarch of the 9 yanas. Janana Sutra and the great Pandita with Bimala Mitra. To you I pray, please show me the path of liberation. Pema Jungne, sole ornament of the world. The Supreme Wisdom Heart disciples, King Trisong Detsen, Consort Yeshitoga, Varotana, and others. Venerable Longchen Pa, who revealed the symbols of an ocean of wisdom mind treasures. Jigme Lingpa, entrusted with the transmission of the space treasury of the Dakinis. To you I pray, please grant liberation and fruition. Do Drupchinle was a Galwin Yugu, Patrumbache, Jamyan Kense Wangpo, Natso Rangdor, Kense Chokilodre, Kense Wezer, and the incomparably kind Root Lama. To you I pray, please show the original face of my true nature. With renunciation being disgusted with cyclic existence, may I meaningfully depend upon my Vajra Lama as though he were my eyes. Following his instructions to the letter and taking to heart the profound practices he gives, and applying them with constant diligence, not just now and then, may the blessings of his realized wisdom mind be transformed into my own. All appearances and possibilities, samsara and nirvana, are primordially the Kanishta Puram, which is the result of purifying, perfecting, and ripening of deities, mantra, and dharmakaya. This is Dzogpa Shenpo, free of any action and effort of abandoning and adopting. Rigpa's dynamic radiance, which is beyond conceptual analysis and dualistic experience, may I see the actual unclad dharmata. The conceptual characteristics, perfectly liberated, are the encompassing sphere of rainbows and lights. The experiences of Kaya's Nyingthig supremely blossoming and achieving the full measures of Rigpa's power, the pure realms of Sambhoga Kaya, and attaining Buddhahood in the great consummate suchness of phenomena beyond concepts. May I accomplish the everlasting dominion of the youthful ways body. If I am unable to experience the realization of Ati Yoga, and this physical body is not liberated into the pure expanse, then when the formative constituents of this life fall apart, may the luminosity of death arise as the primordially pure Dharmakaya. May the appearances of the Bardo be liberated into Sambhogakaya. Perfecting the power of the path of Triksha and Thegel, may I be liberated like a child returning to its mother's lap. In the great sacred luminosity, the summit of the supreme vehicle, Buddha is nowhere sought but in the face of Dharmakaya. If I am not liberated into the manifested primordial ground, then relying on the supreme path of the 5 teachings on Buddhahood without meditation, may I be born in the 5 natural pure realms of Nirmana Kaya, especially in the palace of Lotus Light Pure Realm, then in the presence of the Lord of Origin himself, supreme sovereign of the ocean of Rigzin masters, in the place where there is the joyous celebration of the teachings of the supreme secret mantra, let me be born as his supreme heir and be liberated. May I become the garden of limitless ancient beings. Through the blessings of the ocean of victorious Rigzins, through the inconceivable truth of the Dharma Dhatu, through this freedom and endowed human body, training in purifying, ripening, and perfecting, manifest the interdependence and attain Buddhahood. From the letter Om, radiant like a crystal at the Lama's forehead, rays of light stream forth and enter my forehead, purifying negative actions of the body and obscurations of the channel. The blessing of Vajrabadi is infused. The vase empowerment is received, and I become the receptive vessel for the generation stage. The seed of the completely matured Rigzin is sown, and the fortune to attain the state of Nirvanakaya is established within my mind. From the letter R, blazing like a ruby at the Lama's throat, rays of light stream forth and enter my throat, purifying negative actions of the speech and obscurations of the inner wind. The blessing of Vajra speech is infused. The secret empowerment is received, and I become the receptive vessel for the practice of mantra recitation. The seed of the Rigzin with power over life is sown, and the fortune to attain the state of Sambhogakaya is established within my mind. From the sky-colored letter hung at the Lama's heart, rays of light stream forth and enter my heart, purifying negative actions of the mind and obscurations of the essence. The blessing of Vajra mind is infused. The wisdom empowerment is received, and I become the receptive vessel for the Chandali practice of bliss and emptiness. The seed of the Mahamudra Rigzin is sown, and the fortune to attain the state of Dharmakaya is established within my mind. Once more, from the letter hung at the Lama's heart, a second hung streaks out like a shooting star, merging inseparably with my mind, purifying the karma of the all-round and conceptual obscurations. The blessing of Vajra wisdom is infused. The ultimate symbolizing word empowerment is received, and I become a receptive vessel for the Zopa Chemba of original purity. The seed of the spontaneously accomplished Rigzin is sown, and the fortune to attain the state of Savabhavika Kaya, the final fruition, is established within my mind. Okay, now the insert. Back to the insert and the supplication for the mind training. It's on page 5. Insert the net anime. The Zum Zange Dam Chegi Ngo Kuje Dane Banden Lama Damba La Sewa De So Dala Wanguru Jenge Labdo Se Salam Ge Tobai Ke Para Jenju Lai Ke War Jenge Labdo Se Kadai Nelu Ke Tawa Dombara Jenge Labdo Se Londro Naje Yeshe Tarachembara Jenge Labdo Se Daljurage miller rimboche de ne parakawa dombara jinje laptos. I fervently supplicate to the glorious sacred Lama, the essence of all of the Buddhas of the three times, the embodiment of the four kayas. I pray that you grant me blessings and empowerments. I pray that you bless me so that the extraordinary realization of the profound path arises in me. I pray that you bless me to realize the view of the primordial purity of the abiding nature. I pray that you bless me to perfect the wisdom of the four visions of spontaneous presence. I pray that you bless me to realize how difficult it is to attain this precious human body. I fervently supplicate to the glorious sacred Lama, the essence of all of the Buddhas of the three times, the embodiment of the four kayas. I pray that you grant me blessings and empowerments. I pray that you bless me so that the extraordinary realization of the profound path arises in me. I pray that you bless me to realize the view of the primordial purity of the abiding nature. I pray that you bless me to perfect the wisdom of the four visions of spontaneous presence. I pray that you bless me to realize how difficult it is to attain this precious human body. You can do the mind training now. You can read, and then you can do placement meditation. So alternate between reading and placement meditation. Always read this section pertaining to the freedoms, so you don't have to go any further. Just be around that portion, and then while on that one, then focusing on the intention of our practicing, and then if you also want to read on the refuge tree and the assembly, the refuge assembly, and all, that's okay. You don't have to go reading after the the 10 endowments and below or after that. Just be within the 8 freedoms. So Okay, so now go to the prayers of sublime aspiration on the handout or the insert, page 7. Dawan Thom Chan Ningbo Cheki Wu Chen Guru Shu Chan Che Min Che Bei Dan 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 Dra Mombe Sem Chen Nam Del Juro Ningbo Lembara Jenge Lo. Although I've won these freedoms, I'm poor in dharma, which is their essence. Although I've entered the dharma, I'm distracted doing other things. Bless me and all those foolish beings like me, that we may attain the very essence of the freedoms and advantages. And now, the refuge, so accumulating the refuge prayers. Okay, Lama la jab su chi wo, Sangha la jab su chi wo, Chen la jab su chi wo, Genden la jab su chi wo, Lama la jab su chi wo, Sangha la jab su chi wo, Chen la jab su chi wo, Genden la jab su chi wo. Amala Japso Chiwo, Sangala Japso Chiwo, Chela Japso Chiwo, Gendala Japso Chiwo, Lamala Japso Chiwo, Sangala Japso Chiwo, Chela Japso Chiwo, Gendala Japso Lamala Japso Chiwo, Sangala Japso Chiwo, Chela Japso Chiwo, Gendala Japso Chiwo, Lamala Japso Chiwo, Sangala Jasa Chewo, Chenla Jasa Chewo, Gendala Jasa Chewo, Lamala Jasa Chewo, Sangala Jasa Chewo, Chenla Jasa Chewo, Gendala Jasa Chewo, Lamala Jasa Chewo, Sangala Jasa Chewo, Chenla Jasa Chewo, Gendala Jasa Chewo. Lamala Jasa Chewo, Sangala Jasa Chewo, Chenla Jasa Chewo, Gendala Jasa Chewo, Lamala Jasa Chewo, Sangala Jasa Chewo. Chela Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Lamala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chela Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chela Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Lamala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chela Joseph Gendala Joseph Chewo, Lamala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chela Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Lamala Joseph Shenla Joseph Chewan, Gendala Joseph Chewan, Lamala Joseph Chewan, Sangala Joseph Chewan, Shenla Joseph Chewan, Gendala Joseph Chewan, Lamala Joseph Chewan, Sangala Joseph Chewan, Shenla Joseph Chewan, Gendala Joseph Lamala Joseph Chewan, Sangala Joseph Chewan, Shenla Joseph Chewan, Gendala Joseph Chewan, Lamala Joseph Chewan, Sangala Joseph Chewan, Shenla Joseph Chewan, Gendala Lamala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Lamala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Lamala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Lamala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Lamala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Lamala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewon, Sangala Joseph Chewon, Chenla Joseph Chewon, Gendala Joseph Chewon, Namala Joseph Chewon, Sangala Joseph Chewon, Chenla Gendala Joseph Chewon, Namala Joseph Chewon, Sangala Joseph Chewon, Chenla Joseph Chewon, Gendala Joseph Chewon, Sangala Joseph Chewon, Chenla Joseph Chewon, Gendala Joseph Chewon, Namala Joseph Chewon, Sangala Joseph Chewon, Chenla Joseph Chewon, Gendala Joseph Chewon. Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chena Joseph Chewo, again Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chena Joseph Chewo, again Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chena Joseph Chewo, again Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chena Joseph Chewo, again Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chena Joseph Chewo, again Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Chewo, Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Chewo, Gendala Joseph Namala Joseph Chewo, Sangala Joseph Chewo, Chenla Joseph Gendala Joseph, Namala Joseph, Sangala Joseph, Chenla Joseph, Gendala Joseph, Namala Joseph, Sangala Joseph, Chenla Joseph, Gendala Joseph, Namala Joseph, Sangala Joseph, Chenla Joseph Namala Joseph, Sangala Joseph, Chenla Joseph, Gendala Joseph, Namala Joseph, Sangala Joseph, Chenla Joseph, Gendala Joseph, Namala Joseph, Sangala Joseph, Chenla Joseph, Gendala Joseph, Namala Joseph, Sangala Joseph, Chenla Namala Joseph, Sangala Joseph, Chenla Joseph, Gendala Joseph, 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 Namala Joseph, Sangala Namala Joseph, Sangala Joseph, Chenla Joseph, Gendala Joseph, 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 Namala Joseph, Sangala Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chenla Joseph, Gendala Joseph, Namala 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 Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chenla Joseph, Namala Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chenla Joseph, Gendala 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 Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chenla Joseph, Gendala 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 Joseph, Lamal Joseph, Sangla Lamal Joseph, Sangla Joseph, Chenla Joseph, Gendala Joseph, 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 Lamal Joseph, Lamu Jasa Sangha Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa 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 Lamu Jasa Sangha Lamu Jasa Sangha Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa 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 Lamu Jasa Sangha Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa Lamu Jasa Sangha 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 Chana Chantang Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa Lamu Jasa Sangha Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa Lamu Jasa Sangha Chana Chantang Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa 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 Lamu Jasa Sangha Chana Chantang Yadal Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa 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 Lamu Jasa Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal 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 Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa 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 Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa 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 Lamu Jasa Sangha Chana Chantang Yadal Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa 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 Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa 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 Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa 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 Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa Lamu Jasa Sangha Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa 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 Lamu Jasa Sangha Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa 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 Lamu Jasa Sangha Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa 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 Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa Lamu Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa 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 Lamu Jasa Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal 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 Jasa Lamu Lamu Jasa Sangha Jasa Chana Chantang Yadal Jasa 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 Lamu Jasa Sangha Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson and the Johnson Lam Johnson Sangla Johnson Chala Johnson Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal Jatsa 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 Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal Jatsa 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 Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal Jatsa 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 Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal 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 Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal 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 Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal 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 Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal Jatsa 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 Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal Jatsa 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 Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal 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 Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Chala Jatsa Yadal Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa 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 Chala Jatsa Yadal Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal 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 Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal 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 Jatsa Lamu Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal Jatsa 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 Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal Chala Jatsa Yadal Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa 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 Chala Jatsa Yadal Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal 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 Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Jatsa Yadal Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yadal Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Sangla Johnson Chenla Johnson and the Johnson Lamal Johnson Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa 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 Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa 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 Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal 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 Jansa Lama Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa 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 Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa 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 Lama Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa 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 Lama Jansa Sangha Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa Lama Jansa Sangha Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa 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 Lama Jansa Sangha Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa 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 Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal 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 Jansa Lama Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa 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 Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa Lama Jansa 是最远的。那么就在三个就在全来就在那就在那么就在三个就在全来就在那就在那么就在三个那么就在三个就在全来就在那就在那么就在三个就在全来就在那就在那么就在三个就在全来就在那就在那么就在三个就在全来就在那就在那么就在三个就在全来就在那就在那么就在三个就在全来就在那。Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa Lama 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 Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa 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 Lama Jansa Sangha Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa 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 Lama Jansa Sangha Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa 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 Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal 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 Jansa Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal 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 Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal Jansa 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 Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Jansa Yandal 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 Jansa Lama Jansa Sangha Jansa Chala Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa Lamala Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa Lamala Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa Lamala Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Lamu Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa Lamala 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 Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa Lamala 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 Jatsa Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal 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 Jatsa Lamal Jatsa Sangla Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa 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 Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa 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 Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa 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 Lamal Jatsa Sangla Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa 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 Lamal Jatsa Sangla Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa 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 Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa 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 Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa 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 Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal 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 Jatsa Lamal Jatsa Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal 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 Jatsa Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa 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 Lamal Jatsa Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal 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 Jatsa Lamal Jatsa Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal 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 Jatsa Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal Jatsa 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 Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Lamal Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Yandal 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 Jatsa Lamal Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Lama Jatsa Sangha Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa 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 Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Chana Janta Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha 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 Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa 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 Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha 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 Jatsa 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 Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Jatsa Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangha Chana Janta Gina Jatsa Lama Jatsa Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha 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 Chala Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina 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 Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha 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 Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha 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 Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha 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 Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Chala Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lamu Jata Sangha Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Lama Jata Sangha Jata Chala Jata Gina Jata Lama Jata Sangha Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson and something in the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson and something in the Johnson Lama Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Lama Johnson Sangha Chana Johnson and the Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Chana Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Lama Johnson Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangha Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla 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 Chana Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Johnson Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Chana Johnson and the Johnson Lama Johnson Sangla Chana Johnson Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Lama Jatsa Chala Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita 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 Jatsa Lama Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa 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 Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa 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 Lama Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita 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 Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita 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 Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa 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 Lama Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita 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 Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa 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 Lama Jatsa Sangla Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Chala Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla 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 Chala Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa 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 Chala Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla 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 Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita 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 Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Chala Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Jatsa Chala Jatsa Gita 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 Jatsa Lama Jatsa Sangla Chala Jatsa Gita Jatsa Lama Jatsa Chala Chanteng in the Chansan Lamala Chanta Sangla Chanta Chala Chanteng in the Chansan Lamala Chanta Sangla Chanta Chala Chanteng in the Chansan Lamala Chanta Sangla Chanta Chala Chanteng in the Chansan Lamala Chanta Sangla Chanta Chala Chanteng in the Chansan Lamala Chanta Sangla Chanta Chala Chanteng in the Chansan Lamala Chanta Sangla Chanta Chala Chanteng in the Chansan Lamala Chanta Sangla Chanta Chala Chanteng in the Chansan Lamala Chanta Sangla Chanta Chala Chanteng in the Chansan Lamala Chanta Sangla Chanta Chala Chanteng in the Chansan Lamala Chanta Sangla Chanta Chala Chanteng Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lama Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Lama Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Sangla Janza Chala Janzang in the Janza Lam Janza Go to now the refuge in Longchen Nyingthig Mandro. Lamala Jojo Sangala Johnson Chala Johnson Gendel Johnson Lamala Johnson Sangala Johnson Chala Johnson Gendela Johnson Chala Lamala Johnson Sangala Johnson Chala Johnson Gendel Johnson Lamala Johnson Sangala Johnson Chala Johnson Gendela Johnson to page 37 in the Ngondro text, page 37. Kunjo sumye deshe tsawa sum tsalun tekle ranjen jancho sen owo ranjen tojen kel korola jancho nyingbo bando janson. Kunjo sumye deshe tsawa sum tsalun tekle ranjen jancho sen owo ranjen tojen kel korola jancho nyingbo bando janson che kunjo sumye deshe tsawa sum tsalun tekle ranjen jancho sen Mo ranjen tuje gen kola jancho nimbo bandu janson chi. In the actual three jewels, the three root sugatas, in bodhicitta, the nature of channel, wind, and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until the heart of Buddha, attaining the heart of Buddhahood. In the actual three jewels, the three root sugatas, in bodhicitta, the nature of channel, wind, and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddhahood. In the actual three jewels, the three root sugatas, in bodhicitta, the nature of channel, wind, and essence, and in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until attaining the heart of Buddhahood. I'll go to the dedication in the insert, page 7. Gewa deye nirdo dan kunjo sumbo drujurne drowa chechan malipa deye salage parasho. Back to the Ngondro, page 89. Okay, page 89. When my life is at its end, my perception, the glorious copper-colored mountain, the pure ram of Ngayak, indivisible from Nirmana Kaya's pure ram, and my body, Vajra Yogini, is transformed into a radiant, brilliant sphere of light. Merging inseparably with Jetsen Pama Jungne, I attain Buddhahood. Then from the display of vast primordial wisdom, the miraculous manifestation of bliss and emptiness, For every single being in the three realms, let me appear as their supreme guide. Jitsun Pema, grant this so I pray. I pray to you from the bottom of my heart. These are not just empty words. I pray that you grant your blessings from the expanse of your wisdom mind and cause all my aspirations to be fulfilled. Page 92. From the heart center of the Lama, a beam of light, red and warm, suddenly appears, and with myself visualized as Dorjin El Jorma, it touches my heart, and I'm instantaneously transformed into a sphere of red light, which dissolves into Guru Rinpoche's heart, and I become inseparable with him in one day. Glorious, precious root Lama, dwelling in the lotus seat in my heart, care for me with your compassion, great kindness. Grant me the accomplishments of your body, speech, and mind. Toward the life and liberation of the glorious Lama, may wrong views not arise, not even for an instant. And through the devotion of seeing whatever he does as excellent, may the blessings of the Lama infuse my mind. In all of my lifetimes, may I never be separated from the perfect Lama. And experiencing the splendor of Dharma, may I perfect the qualities of the path and bhumis, and swiftly attain the level of Vajradhara. And once again, reflect on your session, and then any kind of mistakes you have, then bring in your mind and acknowledge, and then pray to Lama Vajra Sattva, Guru Rinpoche, and then purify it, and then make firm conviction that in my next session that I'll be more concentrated and focused and more committed in my practicing. And then if our session was good, then we rejoice, and then we dedicate any merit that we have accumulated from this practice. Just as the heroic Manjushri realized, and Samanta Bhadra too, I will train in their examples and perfectly dedicate all of these virtues. All of the conquerors of the three times, in whichever way they supremely dedicate, I too will perfectly dedicate all my roots of virtue for the excellent conduct. In all of my lifetimes where I am born, wherever I'm born, may I obtain the seven qualities of higher realms. Upon taking birth, may I immediately meet the Dharma and have the freedom to practice it perfectly. In that life, may I please the Sublime Lama and practice the Dharma day and night. Having realized the Dharma, may I accomplish the ultimate meaning of the essence, and may I cross over the ocean of worldly existence in this very life. May I thoroughly teach the sublime Dharma within the world, and never become disheartened or weary of accomplishing the benefit of others. Through working impartially for the vast benefit of others, may all beings attain Buddhahood together. Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Ahum Benza Guru Pema Siddhi. Oh. Okay. Excellent. So that's how you practice. Okay. You're all awake? Okay. Keep it going, everybody. So very happy that you all can practice. You can hear somebody yawning. Yeah. Okay, so today we got 1,300 refugees, and then today we end the second day of the mind training retreat. So now you can X that box. X or tick that box, whichever you like. So one of these days we will make right now our YouTube broadcast streaming is made public, but very soon we will just make it unlisted, so that only with the link that is sent to students who want to join, they can access. Otherwise, we don't want to make it public. So, and of course, it's the fundamental or the foundation practice for everybody, but there are certain things that are kept contained or special within the lineage that we don't want to share with others who don't really have the intent of practicing. So then also our lineage becomes, the practice becomes more in accord to our tradition or our lineage of how the masters practice. So you'll learn all of those. So our recitations will change slightly, and also one of these days I will correct the Monroe and I'll send you the corrected one. We need to change few words as you see there, and then this time what I'll do is I will have the recitation together, so you don't have to go back to a different book. At least it will be in one file that you only need to go, flip the pages, that's all. Okay, I guess that's all I have to say. Do you have any questions?
Question.
Yeah.
So the Nundro, I have
Mhm.
my desktop on my iPad,
Yeah.
but every time I have to scroll, it takes time to load. So when
Okay.
going back and forth between pages, is there a way to just download it so it's there, so it's not just,
Yeah, I think you can download and save onto your application, whichever you use to open. For example, this is like a very, very old iPad. We still use it for our sadhana. It's a little too small for my eyes, tiny for my eyes, but it loads okay.
Well, I'm doing something wrong then, because it's still a download. So the pages will look black as I'm
Yes, yeah, I guess you are not doing it correctly. There should be three dots. There should be three dots or something there, and or 4 lines, and you can click on that one, and then you can have it opened on your. I use here. I think it's called Books. I think this is an app here called Books. So you use it's called Books.
books, but the problem with books is they want to show you books they want you to buy, and it obscures things I've actually downloaded. And the other thing is your document wants me to put it in Google Docs, but I don't like Google Docs because I don't really know how to use Google Docs.
And I don't think you have to do that. There's a way to do it. Once you download it, and then you can open it, like I told you, if you open in Docs, or you can also open in Kindle, either in books or Kindle, either you can open on those two apps that I know of. And you won't be buried under other books. You can also create a collection, or you can also create a different library, like say Longchen Nyingthig. And that way only two books are there. So you are Longchen Nyingthig Monroe, and for now we have the insert, but later the insert will be together with the book. So, and also I'll make some tabs there, so you can just click the button and it will take you to that page, or you can return to where you were.
Thank you, because I was literally scrolling when you sent us to page, was it 37 or 39, and then 92, and then back again.
Okay.
You know, you were halfway through the recitation by the time I scrolled back to the page.
It's called purification of karma. It's okay.
No?
Don't worry. Yeah. You have a little bit of frustration, but think it is purification of karma. That's fine.
I think it's called being dumb with technology. I consider myself a technotard.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I'll try that method. I'll put it on books. And the other thing I want to ask you, Kempo, do you know if the talk that Garshan Rinpoche did yesterday on POA, if that's being saved? Because usually he lectures on YouTube and most of those are saved, but this was Zoom.
I bet it is saved, you know. You can.
I have the link.
It is on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yesterday's. Oh, awesome.
Do you want it? I can send it to you.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah, just put your email in the chat and then I send it to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. It's actually my name at Gmail. I'll do that right now. Thank you so much.
Kimpala, I was wondering if you might be able to speak a little bit about the fourth empowerment we receive from the Guru, this Wabba Kakaya.
Yeah, it's the absolute empowerment beyond indication, beyond symbolism. So, like the first empowerment is empowered through a vase. The second, that's called the vase empowerment. The inner empowerment is called the secret empowerment. Usually it's bestowed with a skull cup, or in some cases, it's the empowerment blessed from the inner power or inner nature of the Lama, like the union of the Lama and the consort and so forth, like that. So it's the nectar blessing, like that. And then the third blessing is called the wisdom empowerment. The wisdom empowerment is through the realization of the Lama bestowed onto your awareness or your discerning wisdom, like that. And then the fourth empowerment is called the word empowerment. Here we use as the ultimate the word empowerment, the absolute indication, empowerment of like those kind of thing. What was the word used here? The absolute word empowerment. So that one is a recognition of one's own innate nature. So that one, the Lama indicates you, saying that rest in your true nature. And then the Lama will just kind of guide you with some instructions with pith instructions, resting. And then if you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, you don't get it. That's the empowerment. So the word empowerment is, whether you get it or not, that's the thing. So that's the absolute word empowerment. Word empowerment, it's the true nature. It's like, it's the absolute indication. Through whatever it needs to be indicated. So the final word is just, this is it. The Lama is saying, this is it. Whether you get it or not, this is it. And so the student, whether they get it or not, it is. And this is Dzogpa Chenpo. It's our own true nature. And then if you get it, then you can engage in the practice of Trekche and Thögal.
And is this related to the I guess final like subtle obscuration that we have?
Yeah. The all ground here is called the alaya. I just put it there, all ground. But that is the basis that we create on our own, where all ignorance is based on, all non-recognition is based on. That is the alaya. That's the conceptual obscuration. The conceptual obscuration. We generally say there are two kinds of obscuration: conceptual obscuration, and the other one is called the emotional obscurations or mental afflictions. So emotional obscuration is based on top of conceptual obscuration. So conceptual obscuration is the non-recognition of your own true nature. So when you receive the word empowerment, it's called the wisdom Vajra blessings. With that one, then here first, it is in the language or in the sequence is from the Lama, another Hung streaks out, then merges into inseparable body, speech, and mind. Here at this point, we don't have any reference of what we think as body, speech, and mind. Everything is completely inseparable. And when that happens, then all karma that is within this conceptual obscuration is purified. And then all habitual tendencies, that all our latencies, depending on that habit of non-recognition, is completely purified. And then we receive the wisdom Vajra blessings. And then the absolute indicating word empowerment. This is the word empowerment. What it means is you got it. And then you are granted the authority to practice or engage in the practice of Dzogpa Chenpo, or primordial purity and spontaneous presence. And then if we practice in such a way, then we can bring forth the wisdom holder of spontaneous presence or spontaneous nature. That's the Mahamudra of the wisdom holder, Vidyadhara of spontaneous presence. And if you do that, then we can bring forth the realization or the manifestation of the inseparable body, that what we have and what the Buddhas have, it's pervaded in inseparability. That's called the Savabhavika Kaya. or the essential. That's the quintessential nature of all sentient beings and Buddha.
Hmm.
Never separated, never ever
Wow.
been separated at any time, even right now, while we think we are confused. So, yeah.
And Arjun said,
As we go along in our Ngondro practice, we will learn more and more about the empowerment and also. Yes, Kira, your question?
Arjun yesterday said, you know, all of you feel like you're separate from me because we can't be in person, but that's not true. And he said, in fact, often being not in the presence, but being separated and actually deepen one's connection to one's Dhamma and the love that is there.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. If we feel our Lama is a physical presence, then there is always distance in terms of miles and miles and all this, the measurements, the distance from point. I am in point A, Lama is in point B, and the distance between A and B, like that. But when we remember what the Lama taught us, what he taught us to abandon, what he taught us to cultivate, then that's a constant reminder. So the Lama's presence is always there in our awareness that I need to practice this and be careful not to engage in something I don't really need to, and which will cause suffering for myself and all beings and so forth. Those are the inner Lama, we say, the inner tutor, the inner guide like that. And then on after, then the Lama becomes Lama's secret manifestations are what the Lamas have assigned us to practice, that carrying this constant awareness that all appearance, our deity, all sound, our mantras, all recollections or thoughts are the nature of primordial purity or basic space and phenomena, or the abiding nature, whatever you want to call the true nature of phenomena or emptiness, all of those different terminologies and so forth. And then finally, the absolute Lama is our true nature, so awareness and emptiness. So if we think like that, our Lama is always never separate from us. So this is what we are learning here. Ngondro is the practice of understanding that nature. It's the accomplishment of the Guru Yoga. Okay.
Yampala, I had a question that I've had for a lot of years, actually. It came up yesterday with Garchen Rinpoche.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in many texts. The idea that whatever the guru does is excellent and is not to be questioned. So in some sense that conflicts with what His Holiness says is and ethical principles, which have to be the foundation of the foundation, as it were. That if even Rinpoches are doing something that is unethical, that we're obligated to step up. So how do you mesh those two conflicts, that everything the guru does is perfect and should be accepted, versus some of the mess that we've seen in various sanghas, etc.
He
Yeah.
didn't say that at all. He said, criticize your guru. And
No, he
But-
did not say that. Please, let me just talk to
of course,
Rinpoche and let him tell us.
Yeah, you know, when it comes to guru, you have to have quite some storage, like quite some accumulation of good merit to meet gurus. So then also, in order for us to keep having pure perception, we need to have quite some merit in store when we are exhausted, or when the merits are exhausted, then it's hard for us to see the guru as pure and all of those. So it's solely dependent on our merit. And this is a very, profound subject or a topic like that. But Secret Tantra is all about purifying our own perception. It's if you just kind of think our relative, oh, the guru has to have 100% excellent qualities in this degenerate time. It's impossible. Even in good times, it's impossible in this degenerate time to find a guru having 100% excellent quality. Is absolutely impossible. So, but it's all about your practice of secret mantra, is how we train our perception, or how we purify our perception. Our three practices are purification, maturing, and perfection is called. Purification, maturation, and perfection. Dzogmin Jiangsum. There was one place where the order had to be revised, has to be reversed. So this very state, which we call samsara, is actually the pure realm of Buddha Shakyamuni. Buddha Shakyamuni attained Buddhahood here in this world called samsara, this state, like in India, in Bihar. If you were to go there, and then this is called pure realm, and then usually if you go to India, especially to Bihar, they say you will find bridges without water and people without brains, they say.
And it is true.
But you have to purify your perception, and then what is there manifests. In the previous travel guide to Bodh Gaya by masters like Hyun Sang, you say Hashang or Hyun Sang, or how, I don't know what the Chinese actually pronunciation is, but we say Hyun Sang. And when he went to Bodh Gaya, he describes in his guidebook that on the eastern side there is the mountain of gold, on the southern side there's the mountain of ruby and emerald and so on and so forth, like that. Now you go there, you see all this desert rocks and other kind of things. So it's how we perceive everything as ordinary, like that. So, and now when we take in case of the Lama, we had earlier one, I'm talking about just the situation, the land situation itself. We find that in time, as time goes by, we think that the essences have depleted and then they become just like ashes or just like dust, like that. That's not the case. It's how our way of perceiving is so poor that the riches right in front appears ordinary, like that. And then in terms of person, like in case of Buddha Shakyamuni himself, let's say, Now we don't have to talk about any guru of this time. Even in the time or during the time when Buddha Shakyamuni was there were some disciples or students or followers or whatever you want to call students, or they saw Buddha Shakyamuni as Buddha. But even among his own disciples, there were some who saw him as very ordinary, and some saw him as hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
Those who saw him as Buddha attained Arhat and Buddhahood. Those who saw him as hypocrite remained there, trapped in samsara. So like that, this is the meaning of why we need to see the lamas act as excellent, because we always filter through our relative description of right and wrong, good and bad, and so forth. But we think it is right for that moment, but we even have time that we actually surface through that and come to find out that relative wasn't true at another point. So this is how the teaching is saying. So of course, like we can always relate to situations. Oh, the Lama didn't treat me nice. The Lama kind of did this and that and so forth at this point of time and so forth. But it's all our,
Projections.
whatever we want to say. So like that.
So like, in a sense where, well, a good example is Trungpa Rinpoche. So Trungpa Rinpoche clearly was unbelievably brilliant guy. His teachings are and writing are phenomenal. And but on the other hand, there were significant problems which now going into the second generation have become even far worse. Between spreading AIDS and raping disciples and so with that being the situation, how does the student discern? Because
I have met students from both sides of Trungpa Rinpoche students. I have met students who are very, dedicated, and who always have stories to tell of his greatness. It is even in his simplicity and like that. Like even if he did like a very how would you say, like, yeah, some kind of crazy thing like that. And also I've unfortunately met some students who talk very badly, like, and then I feel compassionate for them. They talk in a very derogatory manner of a Lama, like, and when I compare, then I see that what is there within them, their thing is that they have never spiritually evolved. They've never spiritually, like, they have so many complaints. I don't know how their life is, but, when they talk about their lamas and so forth, they have they express so much problems like that. So we always have two kinds of students, just Shakyamuni, let alone, it's not nice to talk about those kind of things. It's always been there and will be there, and it will still carry on. So, but I have always kind of refrained, or I've always been lucky not to associate in any of these kind of things in my life. I've been kind of very, very lucky to always be in a presence of lamas who have always been nice, who have always been nice. And I think it's exceptional for me, but I feel sorry for people like that. But I don't know. This is a hard topic to advise, but I would say if you see those kind of things, just stay away, if it doesn't help your practice. But the thing is not to go talking or bad mouthing about those things, because even as a bodhisattva level or the Mahayana level practitioners, we're not allowed to talk about bad bodhisattvas, because we then become bad bodhisattvas. So that's the only spiritual advice that I can give. So, and other than that, then we should take the matter to court. That's the only thing. Then when the case comes to court, then all the religious aspect or the spiritual aspect of the thing is not there. It's all viewed through a very narrow tube. There is no margin for any kind of tolerance, any margin of acceptance, or any kind of pure, disregard pure perception. It's then we only talk about right and wrong in a very narrow, very, very linear manner. So let's not talk about that here in our class. So that's that kind of thing has been there. I'm not trying to bury under some kind of thing, but I'm saying it's not helpful for us at all. Our job, our quest is to find good Lama, and just keep accumulating good merit. You'll find good Lama.
Well,
and spend your good merit with negativity, and you think you are staying with good Lama, and that Lama will start to do things that will irritate you. So,
well, I'm not talking about minor irritations. I mean, an example: one year in Dharamsala, somehow Rinpoche found me, and as well as the Tibetan women who were marching from Dharamsala throughout India to the settlements. And so this Rinpoche was there, and you know how Tibetans are. So the women wanted to have all these blessings for their journey, right? And so he was taking lots and lots of money from these women, and they needed it for their food and their march and all this kind of stuff. So it clearly was a bit problematic, right? And so I reported it to the Dalai Lama, and they were very upset. And so they went out to find this Rinpoche, and they spread word throughout all the Tibetan settlements, watch out for this Rinpoche because he's doing these bad things. So, in my many, many years of doing this now, I've been privileged to meet exquisite teachers, really exquisite teachers. And for many, many years, I studied with His Holiness, and it was an incredible blessing. It still is an incredible blessing. But there's this other side, and I think, the foundation of Buddhist ethics has to be brought into it, and that's not to. I don't mind if a lama or a teacher in the lay world is difficult to deal with. That's one thing. But someone who's unethical, and hurting others, that's a whole nother ballgame. You see what I mean? So the lines, and it's not just it's in this scripture, it's in the way of the Bodhisattva, it's in mind trainings, many Longchen trainings.
Yeah, it's there, but you have to filter. That's why Ngondro, if you meet those kind of teachers, stay away. And then, but it doesn't mean that, to badmouth any teacher, whether they're associated with you or not, then doesn't prove you a good practitioner. Nowhere else, nowhere tells you that you'll be a good practitioner or you good person or a bodhisattva, bad mouthing or, doing that's not the thing, like we think that we have our right to kind of what you call flag down other lamas and those kind of things. Doesn't make us a good practitioner. We have to then we surely know that person, he or she, is in minding their practice. And then in the name of Buddhist path, they themselves are ruining, they themselves are kind of showing themselves a very bad impression of practitioners. So it's not just the teacher that they're, how do you say, the teacher that is a bad example of Buddhist, like you have already flawed Buddhist, you have already flawed the impression of Buddhist teachings in the eyes of others, but now you yourself are a big part of that flaw. You are already, you're not improving, and the whole thing about being a sangha is to inspire others. But when we talk about all those kind of things, we are not a sangha anymore. The quality of sangha, the word gedun, sangha, is aspiring virtue.
I love that.
They don't wish for anything other than virtue. That's what this means. Gewa mind badumba. That's all they aspire is virtue. So, my advice would be to just kind of, those things are there, but doesn't make us any good practitioner by talking like that of others. And no, we feel fortunate. You have to say prayers for those, and we feel, all those lamas who did that, you shouldn't feel angry towards them or like that. That was my advice. Maybe my advice is not good, but like I don't think like we should do that.
Well, I think
I want your practice to be pure, practice to be, and just keep accumulating merit, and then you'll be able to endure even if the Lama kind of displays some kind of unethical behavior or so like that in your dream, all those bad guys in your dream are totally excellent as those good guys in your dream. So think like that. That will help you a lot in your practice.
I mean, I understand nature and that sort of thing, but mostly
The relative aspect of right and wrong, we can go on. That's why I was saying, for them, then they should bring the case to court and not in like here when we're discussing our practice, like those kind of things. So the world is there to punish those who are wrong and to reward who are right. So if they are pursuing that, they should follow the other path. So you'll never find your you'll never find your, how would you say, that through your Dharma, you know, like your limited way of looking at, you know, if you are always kind of weighing right and wrong in this way, then you'll never be compensated fairly on the path of Dharma.
Well, I mean, that's all relative. And I don't advocate bad mouthing teachers. I mean, I agree with you. You know, if there's a problem, you address the problem and take action.
Yeah.
The problem ends up being that students get involved with a teacher whose motivations are dubious, and the students are hurt, the teacher is hurt, because he's doing negative karma, right? And it's getting reinforced. So
yes, I totally understand you. You know, that's what I'm saying. You know, like, of course, you know, more and more you try to think in that, then more and more you'll have things to say like that, and more you will try to prove that you're right. You know, and more you'll try to prove others wrong like that. So that's the way of samsara. So so that's there. It's a sorry state, samsara. I found this, I think I have somewhere, I kind of saved it in my, let me look for it. Kapal again sujada bottle nanalu ocean na bani. Anybody else ask that? You can ask a question while I look for this.
Oh, yeah. The only question I had was, in the text, there's a phrase which you used earlier as well, which is basic space. And I just wondered what the Tibetan term was.
Yeah, it's Che Ying. It's called
Che
Ying. Yeah, Che is. It's the whole expanse of time, place, wisdom, and so like that. So it's one expanse pervaded in terms of time, in terms of whatever. It's all this multiverse or this universes and so forth are pervaded inseparably like that. In one, it doesn't follow from that, like space. That's why we say basic space. The word basic is just used by Chokin Nima, so it's space. There's no such thing. That's the basis for everything. So that's why they say that basic space. So Chuying is the one. I couldn't find my picture, but what it said, I liked it. It says, it was about some kind of complaint. It's like a complaint station some 200 miles away from here. You know, like it showed like an arrow, like saying the complaint box is somewhere 200 miles from here. Well, I like it because I always say, you know, the complaint box of samsara is, it's flooded already. It's full. It cannot take anymore. It's like, you know, like sometimes you forget to check your voicemail, and somebody tries to send you a voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. The complaint box of samsara is already full. Unless they listen and delete, it cannot take anymore.
And also, Kempo, you heard Garchen Rinpoche yesterday, yes? He made such a point of saying, you know,
I didn't. Gachendra Rinpoche is one of my lamas.
My-
I didn't yesterday. I didn't.
I know that.
Mhm.
He talked so deeply about never criticizing anyone because it just diminishes you and makes you look not good. And that,
You should
yes,
read or follow Gachendra Rinpoche's how Gachendra Rinpoche transformed. Of course, Gachendra Rinpoche is a Tulku.
in prison. Yes.
But like how Gachendra Rinpoche's actual authentic bodhicitta arose. This is just a play. It's just a story of Gachendra Rinpoche. He is a bodhisattva, because he's
He
a Tulku
is.
like that. But even in his life,
Mm-hmm.
at one point he held very strong grudge against the communist Chinese.
Of course.
He was there to actually kill them, but soon as he found out through his lamas that the enemy is your anger,
Yes.
all those Chinese enemies naturally died for him. He didn't have to kill them anymore.
He said the moment where he saw the future lives of his jail keeper, of his own jail warden, and that he felt
very well. So yeah.
Yes, that he felt such compassion.
Gachendra Rinpoche is my inspiration. He is my lama, so I know all inside out of Lama Gachendra Rinpoche.
Where can you read his story? Is that in the movie For the Benefit of All Sentient Beings?
I heard from Gachendra Rinpoche himself because I was with Gachendra Rinpoche a long time. So in the movie For the Benefit of Sentient Beings, there's like a portion or like a small part of Gachendra Rinpoche's story. So I don't think there's a book yet, but maybe
I think they came out with the first book and the second one like this year or something.
If you listen to him on YouTube, he reveals many aspects of his story and his teachings. If you're interested,
of course, yes.
Garth gave Conan, my dog, refuge and a Dharma name. I want you to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, everybody, I'm very happy that you all are connected with Gachendra Rinpoche. Then you don't have to look for any lama anymore. So then you found Gachendra Rinpoche and stick to it. Then Gachendra Rinpoche will never let you down, and then you will never have the opportunity to find fault in lama.
Never.
You will always accumulate good karma. So okay, with that note, I will close this class. So so wonderful.
Thank you,
Kempo. Oh no, you have tonight, right?
Yeah, tonight we have class on Shito, and today is Dakini Day, and usually we do Chud on Dakini Day, but since now that we are starting classes, so we'll do shower blessing soak, and then we will start the Shito practice tonight.
What time is that?
7 p.m. California time. So yeah, okay. Yeah, fortunately I woke up today on time. I set my alarm for 3 p.m. So 3:30 p.m. So
I did the same thing before.
I was wondering why did my alarm didn't go on, and I checked, and it said 3:30 p.m. So
yes, happens sometimes.
Yeah,
it sounds like something. I woke up because I'm so afraid I won't wake up on time.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, stay well. Okay. So
okay,
nice.
bye.
Yeah, okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Kempo Lam.
Have a good day. See you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Tashidalig. How are you, Thomas? Okay, Jangshu Dolkar, Jan, Vinicius, Chabela, Jim. And Susie, bye bye. Okay. Okay, bye. I think that's Eddie here. Eddie, bye. Okay. Oma home banza. Oma home